So let me show you another one. I did a music video, and it opens with production value. So let me show you. Any questions?
I actually do. It's more regarding when you're writing the screenplay. So in that one, you had like the next day or like 9:26 a.m. on there. And did you direct that film? So you knew from your own screenplay that you wanted it on there. But if you were writing a screenplay to like sell or give someone else to direct, would you put that in the screenplay?
Well, for this particular story, that's part of his OCD-ness, is he shows up exactly the same time every day. So that's why in the screenplay, in uppercase, it says, what's it, like title over the screen, the next day, 9:26 a.m. Because me as a storyteller, that's important that he shows up.
Right.
Now, the director, if it wasn't me directing it, he might say, well, this works better for me if it's the end of the day, and let's make it 4:32 instead, and that's fine. He would change it throughout. The key is the storytelling. It's important that it's the exact same time every day, because later on he's a minute late, and there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's look at So this one, I had a producer, after one of my films was in a festival, the producer approached me and said, hey, I like your stuff, and I'm trying to promote a musician, so can I give you his CD and see what you come up with? And I thought, that sounds, sure, you know, it sounds pretty cool. So I listened to his song, and it was about unrequited love, and it's called Sunday Afternoon, and how I just got a mood, and I started having these images of different scenes, and so I wrote it down and took it to the producer, and he said, I love it, let's shoot. And so he believed in production value. And so notice the opening shot, whether it seems cinematic to you.
Well, there's a distance that's encountered between the two. Quite a distance to be holding you. between me and you. Maybe we could come together, baby, on a Sunday afternoon. On a Sunday afternoon. Count the minutes and the hours while I'm away from you. Maybe we could come together, baby, on a Sunday afternoon. On a Sunday afternoon.
So I was thinking about, the lyrics. Maybe we can get together someday, and there's a distance that's between us. And I thought, okay, these star-crossed lovers throughout history have always been on the wrong side of whatever, and they can't come together. So I wrote it that he was, French nobility and she was a commoner outside the Bastille. And so I aimed high. I thought, well, that's going to be tough to shoot that. And my producer said, I got it. And on the day of the shoot, he drove us not to the Bastille, not to a cobblestone street, but to a meadow. And I thought, this isn't... So I said, give me a minute, and I just did a quick rewrite on the spot. I said, okay, instead of cobblestone street outside of the Bastille, let's make it a park out, behind the Palace of Versailles. But I don't need to say any of that, and it's just, I don't know, maybe it comes through that she's more of a commoner, he's, because of the silk and the way he's nobility, and the book said French Revolution, right? So. But we use different transitions to go in and out and travel from time and place, either a flash or a fade.
If I may interject, what I always liked about that was that the song never talks about them coming in and out of different decades and so forth. And so having heard the song and then seeing the screenplay, they didn't necessarily match, except for the genesis of the idea that they were two people who just could never quite get together. And so I thought it was quite an interesting take on that song. And so sometimes the visual is very different from perhaps what's being literally said in the song.
Yeah, and thankfully the musician liked it. Now the background guy, I don't know if you noticed, the thin beard and thin hair, he's the musician. And so I put him in every scene. He's tending the fire at the Western one, and he's handing the food to the French guy. So that's just a kind of a fun way to have him in the shoot. The other thing nice about music videos you don't have to worry about sound when you're shooting it, because all the sound is just the music. So that takes a layer of complexity out of your production. So that opening shot, I had a dolly that circled around, and right away I show you the two characters involved. And I hope you got the sense that they're missing each other. They're in orbit around something that needs to happen, but they're not connecting yet. No dialogue. Makes it so nice to shoot. It's a repeating theme. A short film often has a repeat element. Quite often an opening moment will be bookmatched at the end of the film with a closing moment, and there's something about them that connect. And I'll show you, it'll be obvious in another film I'll show you. So some screenwriting tools, software. It's so easy now. There's Final Draft is the industry tool. It's like a couple $100. But there's free versions. So Celtics is one I'm aware of. Just Google screenwriting software. A lot of them will say they're free, but it's actually like a 30-day trial period. But pretty sure Celtics is just free. Oh, a good one, Free Stock Music, or just Google royalty-free music. And there's so much out there that you can use. You can while away many hours listening to different tracks that you would then lay in for your, because a popular song that you hear on the radio, you're probably going to have a hard time getting rights to it. Cooper, you had a question?
Yeah, what was Final Draft?
Final Draft.
Was the one that's expensive?
Yeah. The internet is full of stuff, see?
You were talking about earlier, like, you need copyrights, like rights for music. What about like how you were showing books and stuff? Like it was going off of all the books.
You know, that's a good point. So certainly if there's ever something you want to sell or just make money off of, don't have your characters wear a T-shirt that has a product on it, Coke or Pepsi, because if that's an unsavory character, Pepsi might not like that, and they'll force you to take it down because you never got permission to use their logo. So it's best to use things. Well, like in that Unstoppable, the guy in the pickup truck, my screenplay said he wears a New York Yankees baseball cap. I can't get permission to use the New York Yankees logo, so it just says Ski Bum. And that was fine. It didn't really matter to the story. So if you have a favorite movie, Google it, and you'll probably find the screenplay for that movie. So it's something you know how it looks, and you'll be probably intrigued by how it just plays out on the page, just how it does on the screen. But then you'll note things that are missing, like the OCD guy. In my screenplay, I said he sets and releases the parking brake 3 times. He slams the door 3 times. So we ultimately didn't need that because we needed to just get to it. It was enough that he did the headlights and the doorbell and the pen. Screenwriting guides and feedback and tips, and there's some free sites, and there's a lot of places that for a fee they'll give you feedback on your screenplay. I'm happy to give you guys some feedback on your screenplays as you get them put together, and we'll make sure you know what the website email address is, and we can make that happen. But also have a reading with some friends, and that hearing it said, the dialogue out loud might make you think, oh, that really works, or that really doesn't work. Here's some websites I'm fond of, the Script Lab. One of my favorites is No Film School. It's just that basically the premise is you don't need to pay a bunch of money to go to film school. Everything you need to know is here, and there's a lot there. Braindance.org is they had one of their articles I just saw on there was seven tips to making an effective short screenplay. So, take a look at some of those. DustyStudio.com, that's the animation hotline. I just, his name's, I forget his name.
Dustin?
Dustin. Anyway, it's just, he's just a really neat guy and he does some really creative stuff.
What was the one with all the ribbons? What was that called? You can Google it and find
Flags
it.
of, no, it was, it's on there, on this website. So, and he does everything in chalk.